let me try to tell you what I know about water or what I've learned through experience. Um, so, one thing about water that you need to consider is that the oxidation reduction potential of the water that you drink matters greatly. If you consider pools have a positive oxidation reduction potential so that it kills off the germs and bacteria that might be in the water. On the opposite side of that, water that has a negative oxidation reduction potential has antioxidant properties and anti-aging properties. I have this little device right here that it's called H2 Water for Life, hydrogenated water, but it reduces the oxidation reduction potential of the water to like negative 500 and negative 700 depending on the settings, and it's good for your vitality. And all of this is, you go and do your research. It's scientifically proven that the water does this thing. That's why you have to have the positive to kill off the bacteria. And let it be known that the water in your tap has a positive oxidation reduction potential, and most bottled water has positive. So, and what that does is those positive ions, when they go inside your body, they need a negative ion to stabilize. So when you drink water, what it's doing is leaching energy out of you. And that's a crazy thing to consider, that drinking water would, take energy from you. But on the molecular level, that's what's happening. There's a scientist from Japan many years ago that created this video called Water Has Memory. And it was the beginning kind of my journey of researching and seeking out the properties and the effects of water. And what they showed was that the environment that water is in affects its properties. So that water in a loving, kind environment will, when they flash freeze it and look at it under a microscope, it has crystalline form, meaning it makes stuff like snowflakes and beautiful little figures that that has form. And then on the opposite end of that, when you have hatred and discord and just animosity, it doesn't have form. It's darkness. And they did a study with this, and they showed that with some rice in schools, where they had the kids go up, they put rice and water inside a jar, and they had the kids go up and say nice things to one jar. They neglected one jar, and then they said hateful things to another. And the one that was neglected had showed the highest form of decay. The one that was screamed at had a whole lot of decay as well. But the one that was nurtured and talked kind to had it was preserved. In this experiment, you can look up. I might be off on the two different ones as far as the neglect and the hatred, but the one that was loved was preserved. So the environment that you're in affects you greatly, and water has memory. You see, I got these different vessels in front of you. That's because the vessel that the water is carried in also matters. So you got your oxidation reduction potential. You got the environment that the water is in. It used to be so crazy. I used to be playing Beethoven and stuff like that, classical music to my water, and sit in the closet before I drank it, because I had seen that, like I said, the molecular structure of the water changes, and you are what you consume. So I want to consume the best quality products that I can, water, food, and whatever I put into my mind. Copper is a micronutrient, meaning the body uses it, and it has antioxidant properties as well. So I learned in my engineering studies a process called diffusion, right? So anything in contact with another thing, they diffuse into one another based off heat and time. So the more heat, the more time, the greater the rate of diffusion. Meaning, like if you sitting next to somebody and y'all arm to arm, you notice that y'all, you might get stuck together just a little bit slightly. You're diffusing into one another. Well, when you have water in a plastic bottle, these polymers, I'm gonna use my engineering talk, right? These polymers are diffusing into the water. That's why you can begin to taste the plastic in the water. And so that a polymer is not a micronutrient. So that's bad for you. Now, a polymer is the plastic, is the quickest thing to break down. So you got polymers, ceramics, and metals. Metals are the next thing to break down. And then the ceramic is the last to break down because it can handle the most heat. So glass is a ceramic. And you'll notice that your finest bottles of wine, your finest drinks that you buy, like your most expensive Coke that you want to buy, it's in a glass bottle, right? It's because it preserves the taste. How does it preserve the taste? The vessel that it's sitting in does not diffuse into the drink. So you just get drink instead of drink in plastic. You drinking plastic when you're drinking out of plastic bottles. Micro levels, but nevertheless, that's what's happening. That's why they be saying BPA free, so on and so forth, because they know that the plastic is diffusing off into the water. And so that, copper is very hard to maintain. And the only way you can maintain it, really, what I've found is a lemon. And you take this lemon and squeeze it on there, and it's having a reaction because the lemon has I forgot what you call it, but it's a chemical reaction going on that the lemon is doing for the copper to clean it. So you're gonna need some lemons and a lot of time and a lot of effort. You see, these they got away from me because it's a lot of time and effort to do things the right way. I even have a silver plated chalice for if I choose to sip me some wine. I like to sip it in a chalice. Make me feel like a king, because we kings and priests, right? And so you see I got this thing working, and what you do is you put it on either the 500 setting or the 700 setting, and that's negative ORPM. And you have to drink it immediately once it finished. And all that's going on right now is a process called electrolysis, where H2O, you send in DC voltage through an electrode to separate the hydrogen and the oxygen atoms. And this is why it's called